Hello everybody, welcome back to Ghostly French Toast, and today we're doing a lore video. This lore video is on Quirce, Returned by the Flame. So I know this is something different, but I've just finished Blasphemous, and I'm like, yeah, let's do a Blasphemous video. So enough dawdling around, let's dive on in. In the very beginning, around the start of Custodia, there was a boy who sat on a log and wished for punishment. And hoping that some force or entity would hear him and give him punishment, his wish was heard by an entity known as the Miracle. And what happened to this boy is he was basically on the log that he sat. He was turned slowly but surely into a tree that produces this gold maple-like substance. And we kind of see how the miracle has a sick sense of humor, but and we see that later in just how everything worked. Like when Escobar basically turned his throne, and he turned basically his body into wood because he wouldn't leave the throne. And since like a tree, make like a tree the same, you can't really move a tree. But the reason I'm talking about the miracle right now is that it plays a really big important part in Quirce's story. So, in the Mother of Mothers, at the far edges of the Mother of Mothers, there is a prison, basically to lock away everyone who basically was said blasphemy or did things. Like one time there was a lady who basically said, "Oh, the miracle," she was joking, and she was locked up. And the people who run the prison were called the Inquisitors. The Inquisitors were basically a group of people. They're basically like the prison. They're basically like the police of the Custodia. And we know that that basically Custodia is run by the Mother of Mothers, the religion of basically the world. And we know that in just modern day, if a church runs a government, basically it can get corrupt pretty quickly. And we see that exactly happening in Custodia. So the Inquisitors basically tortured everyone in that prison. They basically killed them. We see this right before John Doe. We see charred human flesh being hung. It is a gruesome thing that the Inquisitors did. We know that some of the Inquisitors were also kind and not as mean as the others, but the one that was exiled because all the other Inquisitors were basically like, "Bro, if you're not gonna do what we're gonna do, we're gonna peer pressure you to get exiled, man." And that's what happened. But now on the Quirce storyline, we know after being Quirce, it's a pretty simple story, but there's more to that. Quirce was basically killed on the cross because he said some blasphemy. Because we see in some of the bones around that most of the people were in there. Some were criminals, we know that, because and some weren't. They're just put in there because they said something wrong. And once the prison fell to ruins, we know that both prisoners and innocents were basically in the prison, were either killed or they had to fight to survive. And we know in the end, Quirce was held to the cross, all that kind of spiel. But right when he died, the miracle was like, "No, you Uno reverse card," and revived him and killed everyone, basically, with the flame that brought him back to life. And something also important, the head warden of the prison, the head inquisitor to say, had this humongous flame sword. And I personally believe this resembles the Christianity and Satan's sword from the Bible. And it kind of makes sense because we know Quirce, how I interpret Quirce, I interpret him as like a fallen angel kind of type. Like, because he died, but he came back because God wanted him to. And that kind of resembles how God, because in the Bible, God doesn't want to kill Satan, but Satan has to stay alive, so God has to keep him revived. And that kind of makes sense with how Quirce's story goes. And we know after a bit in the prison, Quirce basically took over the prison. I feel like that's when the prison fell, was when Quirce was revived and everything went boom. So, and as time went on, a penitent one came along, and this penitent one was like, I don't know, man. He came into the prison and was surprise attacked by Quirce. But we know that Quirce wanted to fight for his life because he knew the miracle would keep reviving him. So he needed to get an honest death. So he challenged the penitent one and lost the fight. And yeah, there's not a lot of lore about Quirce, but I just wanted to talk about this, like a quick lore video, something different, because I've been talking about a lot of Dark Souls, so I haven't done like a Titanfall one or like Doom. So I just wanted to get a nice one out, and yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. See you next time. Ghost French Toast. Bye.